The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, the internet had a brand new obsession.
Yeah, it was definitely not your typical royal photo op, that is for sure.
Not at all. I mean, picture this. You have Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Yeah. And he is lying flat on his back on this bright blue yoga mat in a grassy field.
Right, just completely exposed to the elements.
Exactly. And he's attempting this pose that the instructor is calling downward goat.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, this completely unpredictable farm animal steps squarely onto his crown jewels.
Oh, man. I mean, you really cannot script that.
You can't. He physically recoils. He yells, "Ow! What are you doing?" And the entire crowd just erupts into hysterics.
It is basically the definition of uncontrollable barnyard chaos, just crashing headfirst into royal dignity.
Yes. It's this completely unmanageable variable introduced into a highly, highly managed life.
Right?
And welcome to the deep dive, by the way. Today we are unpacking this exact viral headline from July 2026, Prince Harry's unexpected moment during UK visit goes viral.
Which, on the surface, it just sounds like a slapstick celebrity blooper.
It totally does. But when you look at the timeline of his week, that one slapstick moment actually unlocks a surprisingly deep conversation.
Yeah, it really does.
So we're looking at a huge stack of sources today for you. We've got the international news coverage of the Duke's 2026 UK visit, obviously.
Yeah.
But we also have this incredibly insightful 2023 University of Texas master's thesis on the psychological benefits of goat yoga.
Which is fascinating, by the way.
Oh, it's so good. And we also have a 2018 CDC presentation on zoonotic diseases.
Got to have the public health angle in there.
Always. And as we sort of weave through all these sources, you'll see how this bizarre moment opens a window into the psychology of trauma recovery, the history of royal public relations, and honestly, the very tricky tightrope walk of public health.
But I think, to really understand why that specific moment on the yoga mat matters so much, we have to look at the pressure cooker he was in leading up to it.
Right.
Because context is everything here.
Let's lay out that timeline then. So this was Saturday, July 11th, 2026.
At Maxstoke Castle in Warwickshire, right?
Exactly. And Harry was there for the Scotty's Little Soldiers Summer Festival. Now, for those who don't know, this is a charity he has supported since, I think, 2017.
Yeah, 2017. And he actually became a global ambassador for them in 2020.
Right. And they do just incredible work for bereaved military children.
Really heavy, important work.
Yes. But he wasn't just flying in for a breezy weekend getaway. The background noise of this particular trip was absolutely deafening.
Oh, it was intense. I mean, he was initially in the UK solo to mark the one-year countdown to the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham.
Which is already a big deal.
Huge deal.
Yeah.
But parallel to that, he had just lost a major high court privacy claim against Associated Newspapers.
Right, the publishers of the Daily Mail.
Exactly.
And, think about the psychological weight of that for a second. You are already someone whose entire life has been consumed by media scrutiny.
Since literally day one.
Right. And then you lose a legal battle that was specifically centered on your right to privacy.
You'd feel entirely exposed.
No, totally exposed.
Yeah.
And on top of that public defeat, there were incredibly intense family dynamics at play that week.
Oh, yeah. The security issues.
Yeah. Now, after some highly publicized security issues were finally resolved, Meghan and their children, so 7-year-old Archie and 5-year-old Lilibet, they flew in to join him.
Which led to that highly private and, undoubtedly emotional reunion with King Charles and Queen Camilla at Highgrove House.
Right. And the international coverage noted this was their first joint visit in 4 years.
4 years. So consider the cognitive load here.
Yeah.
You have the weight of the international media, you have a stinging legal defeat, and you have this heavy, historically complex family reunion just sitting squarely on his shoulders.
Your nervous system would just be in a state of absolute hyperarousal.
Oh, exactly. You'd be in fight or flight.
And then, less than 24 hours after that heavy family reunion at Highgrove, he is standing in a pen at a summer festival, and an instructor named Rosie is telling a class to, and I quote, embody the balance of goats.
The mental pivot required there is just staggering.
I can't even imagine.
You are going from the ornate halls of Highgrove House to a muddy field trying to channel a farm animal.
But he genuinely tries. He asks her, do they bite? And the instructor reassures him that the goats just love love.
Love, love. That's amazing.
So he gets into a tree pose, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's making goat ears with his hands. He literally stares down a goat until they're almost touching noses.
He really committed.
He did. And then comes the climax on the mat. The goat steps on his groin. The crowd makes jokes that his security detail failed to protect the crown jewels, and he's just there, laughing through the pain.
Well, if you analyze the psychological function of that exact moment, it acts as a massive pressure release valve. Because when a person is navigating complex family trauma or they're dealing with intense public battles, their brain is constantly scanning for threats.
Right, like they're always on guard.
Exactly. But a goat does not care about your court case.
No, it really
A
doesn't.
goat doesn't care about your family tree or your royal title. It just wants to jump on your stomach.
That is so true.
And that forces you completely out of your head and immediately into your physical body.
That pattern interrupt with the goat makes so much sense when you put it like that.
Yeah.
But, it makes me realize this isn't an isolated incident at all.
Not even a little bit.
The royals are constantly putting themselves in front of unpredictable animals. The Daily Express actually compiled a whole history of these encounters, and while there are, dozens of them, two really stand out to me from the sources.
Yeah, they definitely seem to deliberately cultivate these moments.
Oh, for sure. Let's look at 2015. You have Prince Charles and Camilla at a flower show, and they are handed this massive bald eagle named Zephyr.
I remember this picture.
It's iconic. The eagle does this sudden, dramatic wing flap, and Charles physically recoils. He is visibly startled. His shoulders are up to his ears. His eyes are wide.
Pure instinct.
Exactly. Then compare that to 2021, when Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, was photographed holding a massive tarantula.
Oh, I would have died.
Same. And the spider, coincidentally, shared the name of her daughter, Charlotte.
Which is just a funny coincidence.
Right. And she looks remarkably calm in the photos, but there is still this palpable tension of a human interacting with a giant arachnid.
Well, both of those examples highlight something really crucial about the machinery of royal public relations.
What's that?
The palace PR teams absolutely plan these photo ops.
Of course they do.
The goal is to make these incredibly wealthy, highly insulated monarchs look relatable to everyday people.
Right. Look, they like animals too.
But the magic of them, the real reason the public responds so warmly to these photos, is that you cannot brief a bald eagle on royal protocol.
Huh. No, you really can't. The eagle does not care about the line of succession. It just wants to stretch its wings.
Exactly. And that forces a genuine, unfiltered biological response from the royal.
Like Charles jumping back.
Right.
Yeah.
Because these public figures, they wear their stoicism like armor.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Never complain, never explain.
Yes. But an animal's unpredictable reaction strips that armor away instantly.
Right, you can't fake a flinch.
Exactly. A startled jump from a future king, a wince of pain from a duke getting stepped on, it leaves just the human being underneath. And as observers, we are hardwired to recognize and connect with that raw authenticity.
Okay, so I get the PR angle, I really do.
Uh-huh.
But clinically, I am struggling to see how a goat stomping on your stomach is actually therapeutic.
It does sound like a contradiction.
It really does, because this wasn't just a photo op at a zoo.
Right.
This was specifically goat yoga at a charity event for bereaved military children. Right. If you are running an event for kids dealing with heavy grief like losing a parent, why on earth are you bringing in a herd of farm animals for a yoga session? Isn't yoga supposed to be entirely zen and peaceful?
To unpack that contradiction, we have to lean into that 2023 University of Texas at Arlington Masters thesis from our sources.
Yes. Let's get into the science of it.
So it examines goat yoga through a phenomenological lens. And we already have decades of clinical data showing traditional yoga is highly effective for trauma and PTSD.
Right.
Trauma researchers like Bessel van der Kolk have shown that consistent yoga practice literally reduces the size of the amygdala.
Okay, so for you listening, just as a quick reminder, the amygdala is essentially your brain's fire alarm.
Exactly.
It's the threat center that starts ringing when it senses danger.
And in traumatized individuals, that fire alarm gets stuck in the on position. It's constantly blaring.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. Traditional yoga helps quiet that alarm while simultaneously increasing something called thalamic GABA.
Thalamic GABA. What exactly does that do?
Think of GABA as the brain's braking system.
Okay.
It physically slows down the frantic misfiring of a traumatized nervous system, which drastically reduces anxiety.
So traditional yoga is clearly great, but the UTA thesis points out that it has massive barriers to entry. Right?
Huge barrier.
Like you walk into a dead silent, pristine studio full of people doing perfect headstands in designer activewear.
Right, and if you are already carrying trauma or severe anxiety, that environment can feel incredibly heavy.
Oh, I bet. It can be super intimidating or too performance-focused.
Or some people even feel it clashes with their religious beliefs.
Exactly. Which is where the animals completely change the equation.
They do. The research shows that physical contact with animals directly lowers cortisol.
Which is your stress hormone.
Yes. It lowers cortisol and blood pressure while increasing oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone.
Wow.
So goat yoga basically takes the neurological benefits of traditional yoga and uses the sheer absurdity of the animals to smash through those barriers of entry.
That is so smart. The thesis actually identified 4 core themes from participants, didn't it?
It did. Fun, inducing calm, shifting focus, and removing barriers.
Removing barriers being the key there. But the thesis also mentioned something called the 3-circle model of effect regulation.
Yeah, that's a really important framework here.
It breaks down our emotional systems into drive, contentment, and threat. How does goat yoga hack that specific system?
Well, normally, trauma and anxiety trap a person entirely in the threat circle.
Right.
You are running on high adrenaline and high cortisol, just constantly anticipating the next bad thing to happen.
Like waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly. Now, traditional therapy tries to move you directly from threat to contentment.
Which is a state of calm, safety, and relaxation.
Right. But that leap can be too vast for someone in deep grief.
I like to think of it like telling someone who is stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, running late and furious, to just instantly feel like they are meditating on a beach.
Right. It doesn't work.
It just makes you more mad.
Exactly the problem. So goat yoga replaces the threat circle with a highly unique mixture of drive, which in this case is the joyful, dopamine-fueled excitement of a tiny goat suddenly jumping on your back.
Right. It's stimulating but safe.
Yes, a safe stimulation. And it mixes that drive with contentment, which comes from the soothing, grounding nature of just being outdoors on the grass.
Okay, I see how that bridges the gap, but I'm still really hung up on the distraction element.
How so?
Well, yoga is supposed to be about deep inward focus, right? Mind-body connection. If I'm constantly worrying about a hoof to the groin, I am definitely not achieving a meditative state.
Okay, but if we connect this to the reality of PTSD and profound grief, the distraction is actually the brilliance of the intervention.
Really?
Yes. For trauma survivors, veterans, or bereaved children, traditional silent meditation can be deeply, deeply triggering.
Oh?
Think about it. If you ask a grieving child to sit in silence and look inward, you are potentially leaving them trapped alone with their darkest memories and most intrusive thoughts.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought of that at all.
The silence itself becomes the threat.
You are literally locking them in a quiet room with their own trauma.
Exactly. So the goats provide a completely safe, highly external, constantly moving, present moment anchor.
Because you can't ignore them.
You literally cannot ruminate on the past or panic about the future when a baby goat is nibbling on your toes.
That makes so much sense.
The distraction is the therapy. It forces mindfulness by demanding your immediate attention on something that is joyful and entirely harmless.
Okay, that completely reframes the entire concept for me. The distraction is the therapy. I love that.
It's a great way to look at it.
But because this is a deep dive, we have to look at the whole picture.
Of course.
If this is so highly therapeutic, what is the clinical downside?
Right.
Because I was looking at that 2018 CDC presentation in our stack, the one titled Goat Yoga, a public health perspective.
Right. It provides a very necessary biological reality check to all this joy.
I have to say, just the juxtaposition is amazing to me. You have the joyful therapeutic chaos of goat yoga on one side and then the CDC on the other.
Two very different vibes.
Seriously. It feels like the ultimate fun police showing up to a child's birthday party with a clipboard, ready to shut down the bouncy house because of an improperly secured steak.
That is exactly what it sounds like. But to be fair to the CDC, their concerns are rooted in very measurable real science.
Oh, for sure.
The presentation was created by the Enteric Zoonosis Activity, or EZA, team.
The EZA.
Yeah. And their entire mandate is to monitor and respond to outbreaks when diseases jump from animals to humans. And farm animals, even cute ones, carry a very specific microbiological payload.
When you think about the literal mechanics of this, it completely makes sense. You have humans rolling around on yoga mats in the dirt, breathing heavily, often touching their faces, and they're in an enclosed pen with livestock.
It's a bacterial playground.
It really is. The CDC points out the very real risk of zoonotic enteric diseases here, We are talking about pathogens like Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, and Campylobacter.
Right, and none of those are trivial illnesses.
No, not at all.
They can cause severe gastrointestinal distress, hospitalization, and in vulnerable populations like children or the elderly, they can absolutely be life-threatening.
Which is terrifying.
It highlights the constant tightrope walk in public health. You are forced to weigh the very real, measurable biological risks of a bacterial infection against the profound, yet harder to quantify psychological rewards of human-animal connection.
So basically, wash your hands very, very thoroughly after downward goat.
Yes. And sanitize the mats.
Please sanitize the mats.
Because the public health perspective isn't about banning the activity altogether.
Right.
It's just about mitigating the risk so those psychological benefits can be accessed safely.
Right. Don't let the E. coli ruin the oxytocin.
That's exactly.
Well, let's bring this narrative full circle, back to the emotional core of Prince Harry's visit to Warwickshire.
Because it really did have a beautiful ending.
It did. Because the goat yoga, the dirt, the potential for E. coli, all of it served a very specific purpose for those kids.
Right.
It was an icebreaker.
Very effective one.
Yeah, because after the yoga, and after Harry had a literal water bomb fight with a 3-year-old named River.
Which is adorable.
So cute. But after all that physical play, the atmosphere completely shifted. He sat down for a deeply personal Q&A with these bereaved kids, and the walls were entirely down.
The sequence of events is crucial there.
Right.
You need the absurdity first. The shared physical play, getting hit with water balloons, getting stepped on by a goat, it stripped away the intimidation factor of speaking to a duke.
Because he's just a guy who got trampled by a goat now.
Exactly. It established him as a safe, relatable, flawed human being.
And you see the result of that icebreaker immediately in the sources with a 9-year-old girl named Poppy.
Oh, this part got me.
It's so heavy.
Yeah.
She lost her father to leukemia. And she looks at Prince Harry, who is a man whose mother died when he was just 12 years old. And she asks him, "What makes you laugh when you've had a difficult day?"
It is such a piercing, profound question from a 9-year-old.
It really is. And Harry visibly reacted to it. The reports say he patted his heart, acknowledging how deeply it hit him.
Yeah.
And he didn't give a PR-approved, overly polished answer either. He was incredibly honest with her.
What did he say?
He told her that sometimes it's just a difficult day, and laughing isn't possible at all.
Wow. That is powerful validation for a grieving kid.
Right. But then he said when he can laugh, he relies on his dog, his kids, and funny TV shows. And he gave the kids this beautiful quote. He said, "A laugh at the end of a hard day is the best medicine served."
That level of candor permits the children to also be honest about their bad days. It creates a safe space.
Completely. And the conversation just deepened from there. A 16-year-old named Sebastian actually asked how Harry honors Princess Diana's memory.
Another huge question.
Yeah. And Harry revealed that they eat lemon drizzle cake.
Oh, I love that.
He explained that sweet, simple traditions are important ways to keep memory alive without it always having to be a solemn, sad occasion.
It's a way of integrating the grief into daily life.
Exactly. And then Joshua, who was 21 and lost his father in a crash, asked about distressing. Harry advocated for exercise, specifically walking in nature or cold sea swimming, to reset the nervous system.
Which is scientifically proven to help.
Right. But his biggest piece of advice was about community. He said, talking, guys, if you're feeling it, share it. He urged them not to just sit alone in their grief.
If we step back and look at the broader implications of that moment, it speaks to a universal truth about the human experience.
Tell me more.
Well, grief is universally profoundly isolating. It lies to you.
It really does.
It convinces you that you are entirely alone in your pain and that no one could possibly understand what you're going through.
Right.
But communal joy, even over something as silly as a goat on a yoga mat or sharing a slice of lemon drizzle cake, it builds the neurological and emotional bridge required for communal healing.
That's a beautiful way to phrase it.
You have to create the shared safety of laughter before you can access the shared vulnerability of mourning.
Wow. We have traveled an incredible distance today, haven't we?
We really have.
I mean, we started with a viral, somewhat embarrassing tabloid photo of a royal getting stepped on by a farm animal.
Downward goat.
Downward goat. And from there, we dug into the neuroscience of trauma recovery. We decoded the 3 circles of affect regulation. We balanced it against the realities of public health and zoonotic diseases.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. And we landed on the raw, unfiltered reality of navigating profound grief.
It truly illustrates how multifaceted human healing is and how sometimes the most ridiculous interventions are actually the most clinically effective.
So for you listening, the takeaway here is deeply personal. You might not be a royal, you might not have access to a sprawling castle or a high-profile charity event,
Probably not.
but the tools of resilience that we unpack today are fundamentally accessible to all of us.
They really are.
Connecting with nature, interacting with animals, engaging in shared laughter, and relying on your community. These don't require wealth or status. You don't need a royal title to eat a slice of cake to remember someone you love, or to go for a cold swim to hit the reset button on your nervous system.
That is so true. And, as a final thought to ponder as we wrap up today, this entire discussion raises a compelling question about modern wellness.
Oh, Sam.
Well, as we increasingly formalize these spontaneous joys like turning a simple, messy afternoon with farm animals into structured paid goat yoga classes, or turning a walk in the woods into a clinical intervention, do we risk turning the magic of nature into just another item on our stressful to-do lists?
Oh, wow. That is a great point.
Right. How can we ensure we don't lose the spontaneous, unscripted joy that makes these human-animal connections so deeply healing in the first place?
That is something to seriously think about the next time you find yourself trying to meticulously schedule your fun.
Don't over-schedule the joy.
Exactly. Keep a little bit of the chaos alive.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the sources.
It was a great one.
Take care of yourselves out there. Maybe go pet a dog or a goat if you have one handy. And we will catch you next time.